After what feels like literal months of teasing you guys with laundry room updates, I finally have the laundry room makeover reveal to share with you. When we purchased this house a few years ago, my dad and I renovated part of the laundry room. We knew at some point we were going to want to rip up the floors and add some kind of really great laundry storage and laundry like hanging solution. I just didn't know what that was gonna be yet. So instead we painted it, we added a tiled wall and a brand new custom cabinet and lamp, and it looks awesome. When choosing our material for the floors, I looked at some different travertine and limestone and brick because I wanted it to really look rustic and handle the wear and tear of high traffic, muddy feet, a lot of water, and just kind of age with time. I didn't want to have a floor that we were going to be meticulously cleaning all of the time. So eventually I settled on a porcelain brick veneer in the color taupe, and it's basically exactly what it says it is. It's a veneer piece of brick, so a super thin, about 1/2 inch piece of brick. So you don't actually have to be a mason to install it, which is lovely. Although it was really tricky to do herringbone. We're gonna get to that in a minute. The first thing we needed to do was get the old floor up. We found a ton of very old linoleum floor that was heavily glued down. There was water damage, and it totally gave us like a curveball for this project. One tip I can definitely share with you guys if you're going to be laying tile floor, especially in a space that could have some moisture, is to use uncoupling material. Uncoupling is a newer product that is used instead of cement board. The benefits to using uncoupling are, number one, it's way easier to install. Number two, it is a shock absorber. It helps the tile really adhere to the floor and can take wear and tear and any kind of moisture that may come onto the floor. For the tile pattern, I have been wanting herringbone floors for the longest time, and my dad has done many tile projects in his life, and I definitely recommend, if you've never tiled before, to purchase tiles that are already on a mesh backing in the herringbone pattern. This allows you to lay the tiles without having to measure a 45-degree angle every time you start a new row. That was what took up the majority of this entire project, was just the pattern alone. I definitely think you need to have some tiling experience to do the herringbone if you're going to be laying them individually. It took my dad over a week to do, and he's done a lot of tiling, so just perspective. Another learning curve for me was the grout process. So with glazed tiles like subway tile, you actually can seal after you've already grouted, but with a porous stone or porcelain like we used with the brick, you actually want to seal it before you grout. We had to wait 72 hours until we could really scrub the grout off of the brick, and we actually ended up with some that just won't come off, and it gives it like a really rustic mortar look, which I like. If I would have done it differently, I would have sealed everything first and then grouted, been patient, and not saturated it with all the water. So I am definitely really fortunate because my father-in-law and my dad are super handy, and my father-in-law is an incredible carpenter. So when we decided to do this vertical tongue and groove wall, I knew he was going to have a lot of advice and be able to help us get the look that we wanted. One of my favorite features with this wall is how we were able to make it look super flush and not add any extra depth to the space with the trim. So he actually created what's called a rabbet, and he made a groove under the backside of our trim, and we were able to just sit all of the vertical tongue and groove boards into it. So it has a really seamless look. I decided to paint the tongue and groove wall and the trim all of the same color. It's a flat finish by Benjamin Moore in Chantilly lace. I didn't want to have our big old clunky drying rack in the floor. It didn't look good, it was in the way, and I found these amazing galvanized and wood drying racks from Pottery Barn. I got 2 of them because I hang a lot of clothes and I wanted to make sure we had enough space. I also picked up the Lombard laundry bags. These are awesome. They're a canvas bag that hang right on the wall, and this is going to allow me to finally sort our darks and our lights. Another thing you guys might notice is a washable rug on the floor. I actually purchased this kind of on a whim before our recent engagement party because I knew people were going to be coming in and out, and it had rained the day before, and I wanted to like minimize how much mud was getting on our brand new floors. And we're just keeping this rug here because it's perfect size for that space, and you can throw them in the washing machine and it's amazing. I tested it out. I've already put it in the washer twice, and I will say that to get out like harsh dirt stains, I used a little bit of Folex and a microfiber towel just to kind of scrub it up, throw it in the wash, comes out good as new. So we already had our cabinet in the laundry room, but we never took the time to organize it, and it was just like a free-for-all. It was a mess. You'd open it and like a dryer ball would come out, and then you'd get hit in the head with like, you know, a can of bug spray. It was like, it had no purpose. It was a mess. The first shelf is all laundry products. I had an acrylic Lazy Susan for all of our specialty detergents and scented fabric softeners that smells really nice and looks pretty when you open the cabinet. I also wanted to try to minimize how much of the bright like primary colors that we had in there, you know, the traditional laundry packaging that's like bright red and blue. So I took our dryer sheets out of the packaging and put them in acrylic pretty drawers that I have labeled, and it just looks beautiful, and this cabinet makes me happy now. I also have all of our frequently used mop pads in there and other cleaning supplies. And then I also put all of our not really frequently used products up at the top. And one of my favorite little tools is this grabber or the reacher. They all have different names depending on which one you get. They're so handy. I mean, you can have this in multiple places in your house, but it's just for high up areas. If you don't want to get the step stool out, this thing can be your best friend, especially because we like to keep like paper towels up here, and you can just use this handy dandy claw to grab things that are out of reach. The other thing I did was install, it makes it sound like it was a big deal. I used an adhesive 3M. So I took a sticker back off of a 3M product, and it's the bins that I've used in a couple of the other videos, like the kitchen video. I love these adhesive bins. They're in multiple areas in our home, and I have this for any sort of scrub brushes that I use to remove stains, and it's super handy because it's right there. It doesn't take up any extra space in the cabinet, which is great. I love how this cabinet looks when I open it up. It's so clean and refreshing, and it looks beautiful and kind of like a vintage, I don't know, apothecary. It makes me want to do laundry, as crazy as that sounds. This renovation was a total labor of love, but I cannot get over how amazing it turned out. It's so much more functional. I think that laundry might be one of my new favorite hobbies just because I want to spend time in there. If you guys enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Comment down below what your favorite little tip or trick from this video was, or maybe a solution that you want to add to your own space. I would be super interested to know. As always, I hope you guys are doing well. Don't forget to subscribe to Real Simple's YouTube channel and turn on the notifications so you never miss an episode of Simply.